Hello, now today we will talk about this problem sums from the mid-year examinations from the Red Swastika School in Singapore. Okay, this was last year's paper 2 question 12 from that particular school. Benny and Danny shared a box of marbles. At first, the number of marbles Benny had to the number of marbles Danny had was 1:4. After they had bought another 70 marbles each, the number of marbles Danny had was 1/5 more than the number of marbles Benny had. How many marbles were there in the box at first? So again, let's employ the RHMC steps. So RHMC, let's read the question once more. As we are reading, we will underline, we will highlight the important words and numbers. We will choose the right method and we will check our work. Okay, so Benny and Danny shared a box of marbles. At first, at the start, the number of marbles Benny had to the number of marbles Danny had was 1:4. Okay, so which means that B is to D is 1:4. Alright, after they had bought another 70 marbles each, 70 marbles each, so basically their marbles increased. The number of marbles Danny had was 1/5 more than the number of marbles Benny had. Alright, so Danny will have 1/5 more than the number of marbles Benny had. How many marbles were there in the box at first? Alright, so very clearly when we look at this question and when we see at first, when we see some changes and when we see an after value as well, this signals to us that this is actually a before and after problem sums. Okay, so we have to employ the before and after method to allow us to solve. Okay, but which before and after method do we employ? Is it total same, difference same, one quantity same? Okay, which one is it? Right, so since they shared that box of marbles, right, the ratio of the marbles was 1:4 at first. Okay, and what happened was that they each bought an equal number of marbles. Right, so let's say for example, okay, I don't know the exact number, but let's say example Benny had 20 marbles at first and Danny had 80 marbles at first. Alright, now when they bought 70 marbles each, Benny's marble will become 90, Danny's marble will become 80 plus 70, that is 150. Now I want you to check, okay, what is the difference between their marbles at first, 20 and 80? What's the difference? Versus 90 and 150 versus the after case. Okay, if you check 80 minus 20, the difference is 60. 150 minus 90, the difference is also 60. Now as you can clearly observe, the difference remained the same. Okay, difference was unchanged. Why is that so? Because they each bought an equal number of marbles. Alright, now difference unchanged is a method that you use when you see such a statement like this. 70 marbles each that they bought. They bought an equal number of marbles. Or in another question perhaps, when for example they give away the same number of marbles. Like for example, Benny and Danny each gave away 50 marbles each. Then it is still a difference unchanged concept. Now why is this important? Because it will allow us to write the proper steps and choose the right method in order to solve this problem. Okay, so I have the before ratio, which is 1:2, and when you know it's difference unchanged, come out with a final unit here, which is a difference unit. Okay, so you write difference unit. What is the difference between 4 and 1? It's actually 3. Alright, now this is a before case. Now in the after case, they each bought some marbles, right? I can also come out with a ratio between B and D, and also later on the difference as well. Okay, so now in the after case, what happened was that Danny had 1/5 more than the number of marbles Benny had. So 1/5 means, how do you interpret, how do you determine what is the ratio for the after case? This one unit will belong additionally to Danny. Additionally, the 5 units here will belong to Benny. Okay, so Benny for sure, he has 5 units. And in addition to that, Danny will have 1 extra unit, which is 6 units then. Which makes the difference to be 1 unit, 6 minus 5. And when you see a difference unchanged problem sum, all you have to do is make sure the difference number of units is the same. So it's 3 here, it's 1 here. I just need to multiply the difference so that it becomes the same number of units. Right, so all I have to do is make this into 3, so it times everything by 3 in a ratio. When you times one side, every side is affected. Okay, so times 3 throughout, you're gonna get 3 here, excuse me, and 6 times 3, you're gonna get 18, 5 times 3, you're gonna get 15. So that allows us to do a direct comparison. That is the purpose of making the difference unit the same, so that we can directly compare the before and the after case. The before and the after case. Okay, so for Benny, his number of units for marbles jumped from 1 to 15. Okay, from 1 to 15, which is a difference of 14 units. How do I get 14? 15 minus 1. Similarly, Danny's number of units should jump the same as well. Okay, let's check. 4 to 18, which is a jump of 14 units as well. Why is the number of units the same? Because they each bought the same number of marbles. Alright, so let's try and solve this question now. So first step, I find the change of number of units. So that is just 15 minus 1, which is 14. For this step, you can also use Danny's number of units. You can also do 18 minus 4. You will get the same, but we'll just use 1. Okay, there's no need to use both. So from here, I know that that 14 units of change is really because of the 70 additional marbles that they have bought. Okay, please, after units, you cannot put arrow. You're supposed to put equal actually. Okay, after the word units. And you're supposed to spell out the word units. Please don't put 14U. Okay, please spell it out, 14 units. So from here, 1 unit is just equals to 70 divided by 14, which will give us an answer of 5 marbles. Alright, the question wants us to find how many marbles were there in the box at first. So at first, they shared 5 units of marbles. Why? Because 1 plus 4. So 1 plus 4 first, that gives us 5 units. And I try to find what is the value for 5 units. That is just 5 multiplied by 5. That gives me an answer of 25 marbles at first. This is the final answer for this question. Okay, so how can we check? We can find Ben's or Benny's initial number of units for the marbles. Again, this box here was just an explanation, so this is not the actual answer. Okay, so initially Benny had how many marbles? 1 unit, so 1 unit is just 5. So Benny had 5 marbles, and Danny had 4 units of 5, so that is 20. And they each bought 70 marbles, right? So Benny was 75, became 75, and Danny became 90. So I asked myself whether the ratio is matching the ratio that I have over here or not in the before and after case. So between 20 and 5, what is the simplest form? 5 is to 20. The simplest form of the ratio is 1 is to 4, which matches our before ratio. Okay, so this part is okay. And then I asked myself, between 75 and 90, what is the simplest form for this particular ratio? Alright, we can divide both sides by 15, so we're gonna get 5 is to 6, which again matches our after ratio here. So that's how I know that the answer is totally fine. Okay, so that's how you approach this question. Again, identify that it's a before and after problem. Next, identify that it's actually a difference unchanged concept, and from there develop yourself a ratio for the difference part as well. Make the difference part the same, okay, and then subtract the after and the before values for the number of units, and then find 1 unit, and then proceed to find the number of marbles in the box at first. Okay, so yes, that is actually a before and after difference unchanged kind of problem sums. Thank you very much.